introduced me. I'm a Commonwealth Shared Scholar for 2022, currently studying for my Master's in Terrorism, International Crime, and Global Security at Coventry University, with a focus of promoting global peace and security in Nigeria and Africa, and of course, globally. I have interest in ensuring that global peace and security is achieved in terms of eliminating insecurity both at national and transnational level, and of course trying to reducing the effects of insecurity and promoting peace building across board. And that has been my interest, and which is part of what I'm currently working on. So tonight, I want to particularly thank my dear brother and friend, Osita James, for the opportunity to speak to us tonight. Like I always have this conversation with him, and we had a conversation recently where we were talking about people being serious about scholarships, opportunities like this. The truth is, I believe that anyone can get a scholarship so long as the person is determined and willing to pay the price for it. And of course, you've all come tonight because you are really serious about getting the opportunity to study, not just abroad, but also to pursue your dreams and goals in life. And getting a fully funded scholarship like the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship is one of the best things that would happen to you, because it gives you practically everything that you need to succeed. So you wouldn't get to worry about anything at all. I mean, as a Commonwealth Shared Scholar. So if you are here tonight and you are still contemplating about either to apply or not to apply, I can give you a bet that if you are really serious and you're willing to pay the price for it, you will never regret being a Commonwealth Scholar. Briefly, I'm really expecting, a larger audience to come. I don't know if this event, actually, this session is streamed on YouTube, and probably we have more people joining from there. But then it's fine. It's always the serious ones that will be there to pay the price. So I think I would like to share my screen. Is it possible? So I briefly would just tell us what we'll be discussing tonight before I proceed. Can I share my screen?
Yes, you can share your screen, and we have other people still logging in. So we're waiting for them. They will. And yeah, the video will be shared again on YouTube. So we have a larger audience there.
All right,
But you
that's
can go
fine.
on. They are
So
coming.
yeah,
Don't
so
worry.
this is what we'll be discussing tonight. I will talk about the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship and what it's all about. We will also talk about the eligibility to get a Commonwealth Scholarship and the requirements, and then the benefits of the Commonwealth Scholarship Award. Then the focus of the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Of course, Commonwealth scholarships are currently focused on sustainable development goals. And if you are not interested in sustainable development goals, this scholarship probably may not be for you. Okay, and how you can select the right programs. Then the application process, admissions, references, and then writing the 12 Commonwealth Shared Scholarship essays. This is the most difficult part of the application, and this is the determining factor of who wins and who did not. And then the submission process, post-application process, and your departure. So the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship is one of the scholarships funded by the UK government through the Foreign, Commonwealth, and Development Office, and managed by the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission in the UK. For the past years, this scholarship has been awarded through the Commonwealth Scholarships Commissions. Commonwealth Scholarship Commission have awarded over 30,000 scholarships to people from low and middle income countries, particularly from Commonwealth countries. So the aim of this scholarship is to train people from low and middle income countries, Commonwealth countries, to come to the UK to study for a 1-year master's degree program. So they will be able to get the skills, the knowledge that is required for sustainable development in their home countries. Okay, so the Commonwealth scholarships actually is focused on achieving sustainable development in the home countries of Commonwealth countries. And part of the things that it focuses on the fact that it looks for, people who are talented, who are not just ambitious, but motivated enough to profile solutions to development problems in their home countries. So if you are the kind of person that you're passionate about development in your home country, then this scholarship is meant for you. Now, looking at the eligibility for a Commonwealth scholarship, for you to be eligible for a Commonwealth scholarship, you must be from a Commonwealth country. Countries like Ghana, from Sierra Leone, from Nigeria, from the Gambia, from Kenya, Cameroon, and a whole lot of other Commonwealth countries. You could check the Commonwealth Scholarship Application website to know if your country is eligible for you to apply. And part of the requirement is the fact that you must hold a bachelor's degree or an higher qualification, like you must have acquired a qualification from an institution of higher learning. This could be a bachelor's degree or HND. Yes, HND is actually qualified for you to apply for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship if you can get an admission from a UK university with that degree. So it is not discriminated for you to apply with the HND. And so part of the requirement is the fact that you must hold a bachelor's or a degree of higher learning, either for BSc, BEd, or the case may be, or a master's degree as of the time you are applying for this scholarship. And also, maybe if you're in your final year, you could still apply, provided that you would graduate and be ready for studies as of the time of scholarship decisions and departure time. And then also you must previously not have worked in a developed country or currently living in a developed country. This is part of the requirements. And other requirements like meeting up with the criteria set by the online application, like submitting your online application, submitting your transcripts, and hold a valid form of identification from a Commonwealth country. So if you are from Nigeria, you must have either an international passport or you must have a national ID card, be it the original or the temporary. You're qualified to apply for this scholarship. So what are the benefits of the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship? Now, this is the most amazing part of it. Okay, it's amazing because getting a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship is going to be one of the most life-transforming experiences that you would have in your entire life. This scholarship actually covers, your tuition fee, your to and fro flight tickets, your health insurance, a good monthly stipend, everything that you need to study in the UK. They give you warm clothing allowance, they give you research grants, they give you travel allowance, and a whole lot of benefits that you would get. Permit me to also mention that this scholarship is actually co-funded by UK universities alongside with the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission that manages the funds provided by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. So the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission actually pays for your tuition fee, for your flight tickets, and other aspect of the scholarship, other component of the scholarship, while your university pays your monthly stipends, your warm clothing allowance, a few other components of it funded by the university. And also, one of the things that distinguishes this Commonwealth Shared Scholarship from other Commonwealth scholarships is the fact that university gets to make their own selections, okay? University nominates or selects who they want, who they consider to be eligible and deserving of a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship Award, and they recommend the person to the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission, who gets to confirm the award and issue confirmation of award letter to nominated scholars. So going back to the outline, I mentioned the fact that the Commonwealth Scholarship is actually focused on sustainable development goal. And I believe that all of us here, if not all, majority of us here already know what the sustainable development goals are. The 17 global goals of the United Nations that the world is currently striving to achieve by 2030. And this is part of the reason why you are giving the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, because they want you to also contribute in your home country towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. So for you to apply for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship and be awarded a scholarship, you must be able to identify an aspect of these goals in your home country where you feel that your country is lagging behind, that going at this pace, your country will not be able to achieve this particular goal or target, except that capacity gap is bridged. So you could make a case for the fact that you actually want to help and contribute your own quota in terms of achieving these particular sustainable development goals, be it good health and well-being, be it ending poverty, be it hunger, be it climate change, be it sustainable cities and communities, life below water, any aspects that you feel that your country is lagging behind, you could be the person that will contribute in terms of meeting up with the achievement of that particular goal or target in your home country. So for you to be awarded a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you must be passionate about sustainable development in your home country. You must be passionate about sustainable development goals and achieving them in your home country. I mean, the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission is not looking for somebody to give opportunity just for him or her to achieve his or her own personal goals and dreams in life. Yes, this scholarship can give you the opportunity for you to achieve your goals and dreams in life, but the target of this scholarship is not just to help you to achieve your goals, but it's to make you a better person so you will be able to contribute your own quota in achieving these goals, in same time pursuing your own personal goals that you would achieve in the years ahead. So the Sustainable Development Goals is a very crucial part of your application process and a major criteria for selecting who gets this scholarship and who does not. So whether you have a first class, you have a second class upper, you have a second class lower, who are all qualified to apply for the scholarship, you must also be passionate about sustainable development goals. So if you have not been interested in sustainable development goals, maybe this is also an opportunity for you to start building yourself and contributing towards achieving sustainable development goals in your home country. So I will try as much as possible to make this session very interactive. And after explaining the application process for you, I will just open the floor so we can discuss, okay? I think we have about 2 hours for this session and we have spent 19 minutes already. So maybe the next 5 minutes I should be done explaining this process so we can really discuss, because the primary focus for tonight's session is how you will be able to make your essays better and position yourself better to submit a more competitive application that is deserving of a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship Award. So the application process, admissions, and references. The scholarship for 2023-2024 academic year is currently on and is going to close on the 13th of December, that is 13th of next month, by 4 p.m. GMT, that is like 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And for those that have already started applications, I would encourage you to try your possible best to see that you submit your application on time, okay, even before the application closing date, because you don't know the circumstances that may arise within this period. It could be network failure, it could be anything. Your system can crash, your phone can get missing, anything can happen to your application. So it's always good that you start your application on time and submit it on time as well. So the application process requires that you would have to log in to the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission's application page for the shared scholarship, which I believe that you must have been provided by the team. Okay, I believe that you must have got access to it, but if you have not, I probably would communicate this to Sisom so she will be able to share with you. But if you really don't know how to apply, this is the link for you to apply. Okay, just go online and search for 2022-2023 Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, or just visit the website and you will be able to apply for the scholarship. So the application process requires that you would have to submit your application online, submit your Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application online by filling in the application form, writing your essays, and also providing your transcripts, and identification documents. So the process is quite simple. It's not as complicated as you think. So when you log into the website, you will be able to follow the instructions. And the first thing you would need to do is to just select the CAC team under which your course falls into. So you probably must have seen that the easiest way for you to know this, the program you want to apply to, is to come to apply. When you log in, just come to apply. You see where the CSC online application form, if you click here, it will automatically take you to the application portal where you'll be able to fill and submit. So this is the application portal. You quickly come here and select your nationality. If you select Nigeria as your nationality, all you need to do is to fill in with your email address. Make sure it is the right email address, and then you proceed. Okay, so once you do this, you are a new user if you have not started already. I know that some of us here have already started our application. So you just fill in your email address and password, and then you continue. And anytime you were back, you probably would continue from putting your email address, password, and then you continue filling the application form. And the good thing is that you can select as many programs as possible. So like I was saying, if you want to know the programs probably you should apply to, the best thing for you to do is to come here and click the best thing for you to do is to come here and click on view full list of approved courses. So when you click on this, it will take you to a page where you'll be able to select the programs based on the different teams. So the CSC have 4 teams. They have access, inclusion, and opportunity, promoting global prosperity, science and technology for development, strengthening global peace and security and governance, and strengthening health systems and capacity, and strengthening resilience and response to crisis. So all the courses that has been approved are listed under the different CSC teams. So this makes it very easy for you to select the team and the program. So if you select a particular team, what you need to do is to go through the courses that relate to your area of interest. And the easiest way, the best way to select the course is to look back at what you've done. If the course is directly related to what you studied at undergraduate level, you can go ahead and apply. Or perhaps it's not directly related to what you study at undergraduate level, but perhaps you must have been working over the years in that particular field. You could decide to apply and make a case for it, so long as you have good grades and good reasons to support your arguments. So you could come to the different teams, and before you start the application process, I believe you must have come to this place. You must have visited this particular session to select the program. So you can select up to like 5, 3, 2, as many as you want to apply. There is no limitation for the number of applications that you could actually make for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So under the various CSC teams, you would be able to select the right program that is related to you. And like I will always say, the best way to select the right program is to select a program that relates to your area of interest. What are you passionate about? What sustainable development goals do you want to achieve? And for you to know the right program to select also is that you must visit the program website by going to the university website to read about the program. So you want to study MSc Mathematical Sciences at Durham University, the best thing for you to do is to go to Durham University website and read what the MSc Mathematical Sciences is all about. So this gives you idea of the problem that you are going to be solving with this degree. So coming back, now, there's another way you can also select your UK university that probably you want to school. So there are not all universities in the UK actually partners for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So as I think this year, from the list I've seen so far, is about 49 universities that are currently funding Commonwealth Shared Scholarship for 2023-2024. However, when you go through the application website, you probably would find more universities. Yes, because I've seen that you probably would find more universities that are listed there, and they're actually funding and partnering for it. So you have to check through the university website. You check through the university listing to know the number of awards, the number of scholarships each university is funding. And then the criteria for selecting. If you look at Bangor University, you will see that the number of scholarships available are just 5 scholarships. Meanwhile, the university will only consider applications from strong candidates residents in Uganda and Kenya who are refugees, internally displaced, or have otherwise been affected by conflict. I mean, these are part of the African countries where citizens are so affected by conflict. So what you need to do, System, can you hear me? Hello, System, can you hear me?
I think she's having some network challenges, but I can hear you very clearly from my end.
All right. Good to see you, boss. Because I could see people trying to join, and that is why I'm kind of asking.
Okay, no, I think she said she was having some network issues, but we can hear you very clearly. I think it's a network thing now, Nigeria. All
right, that is fine. So you just look at the universities have different criteria. Some universities, you must not use a deferred offer. If you must be considered for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you must apply for the scholarship and with a fresh admission. So they consider both your scholarship and admission applications concurrently. University of London, I know they have this policy, and other universities as well. So it's always good that if you have an outstanding offer in a university, you should contact the university, email the university to find out if that offer will be considered for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Otherwise, you can cancel it and reapply. It will cost you nothing. So some universities consider new applications for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, while for other universities, you could actually use your suspended or deferred offer to actually apply. So I will advise that you go through the list of universities to know their criteria. And it is very easy for you to assess that. Just once you visit this particular page I have just showed you, you will see the university website. You will see the website of the university, and it takes you straight to the scholarship session where you'll be able to see their criteria for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. And you always see the email address for the different universities. So if you want to make any contacts regarding the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you just email that address and they are going to respond to you. Unfortunately, we are moving very close to the deadline of the application. So you will have a lot to do with a limited time. So if you have started your applications, I will encourage you to continue at a very good pace so you will be able to submit as many as possible. So you also try to widen your chances of getting nominated, because this is perhaps one of the most competitive scholarships you will apply to in your life. And of course, as you can see, some universities are funding just one scholarship, others are funding 2, others are funding 5, 8, 9. 9 is the maximum I've seen so far. So when you have 9 scholarships and then you have up to like 60 to 70 to 80%, over 100%, over 200%, just applying to get 2 slots in the university. So it is very, very competitive. And this is where getting good grades comes into play. And not just getting good grades based on academic merits, also your development impact work, what you intend to do at the end of your program that you have, written as your development impact essays are considered. And then also your outline of study that you have written, both the short outline and the detailed plan of study. They really consider this as important requirement for selecting. And the number of awards by each of the universities is not static. Some universities could decide to review to either increase or reduce the number of awards. For instance, my university, Coventry University, last year was funding only 2 awards. And this has been consecutive for the past 3 years to the best of my knowledge. But as of this year, they are funding 8 awards, which means there is positive impact based on assessment that they've decided to give room to more persons. And you can see that some universities from my assessment so far have also reduced the number of awards that they funded for last year. So you have to be at your best if you are applying. Like nobody's going to listen to your story of how you went to school barefooted. They're not interested in that. What they're interested is the impact you are going to make in your home country. What are the things that you are going to do that will help to achieve sustainable development goals in your home country? What problems have you identified in your home country that you want to solve? Coming from Africa, there are so many problems in our communities and in our various states. They want to see how you will be able to contribute in solving these problems. However, if you are applying for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, it's always good for you to give priority to national development. Okay, so your priority for development impact should be Nigeria as a whole. If you are applying from Nigeria, don't restrict your interest to your state or to your community. You want to help the people in your village to fight malaria and provide sensitization to them. You want to promote good health and well-being in your village. You are not going to be interested. They want to know how you can help in reducing the number of malaria-related deaths in Nigeria. Because if your focus is in Nigeria, you probably would going to cut across different states in Nigeria, which means that you are not going to be selfish. You will be selfless in terms of providing the assistance that communities outside your own community needs to actually overcome these problems. And the good thing is that if a development problem in Nigeria is solved, a development problem at global level is being solved. Because if you are doing the work that reduces the number of malaria-related deaths in Nigeria, it is also helping to reduce the number of malaria-related deaths globally. So whether you are doing it at your village, in your community, in your city, or in your state, always mention the fact that you want to solve a problem in Nigeria. And I hope this is clear enough. So when you are applying for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you will need to also apply for admission in each of the universities that you have selected to study. So let's assume that you want to study MSc Global Health at Cranfield University. You have selected MSc Global Health at Cranfield University. In the Commonwealth application portal, they expect that because the scholarship itself is to fund your admission in the university. So while you are submitting your application for the scholarship, you would also have to submit a different application for the admission. This is where it is even more stressful to apply for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship compared to many other scholarships. And I can bet you that this is perhaps the most stressful scholarship you would get to apply to in your life. Yes, because, and that is why majority of people get scared of applying for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, because you are going to write 11 essays for each of the applications. So if you're applying to 2 programs, you will write 22 essays. If you're applying for 3 programs, you will write 33 essays. If you're applying for 4 programs, you will write 44 essays. And the same way you apply, the same way you're writing these essays, applying for the scholarship, is the same way you are also going to, apply for admission in each of the universities. Now, out of the point of applying, you are permitted to apply to multiple schools. But when you are being selected, you would only have to accept one Commonwealth Shared Scholarship nomination for you to study in the UK. I believe this is clear enough. So I decided to include the reference aspect of it because it's an important component of the Commonwealth application process. So while you are filling the application form, putting in your details, and providing all the information that are needed, you will be required to nominate, 3 referees. I mean, these are people who should be in a position to provide good judgment for you in terms of vouching for your qualification to be awarded a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. And this could be people who have either taught you in the university or someone you must have worked with. They are not to be members of your family. They are people that are not related to you or people who have worked with you. But let's assume that you're working in a place and your family member seems to be maybe your boss in your office, or perhaps, he's your boss in your office and maybe your supervisor, or somebody you have worked at a professional level, even if it's your family member. You could decide to nominate that person, not on the basis of providing reference for you as a family member, but providing reference for you at a professional level. So you can decide to nominate 3 referees, okay? 2 should be academic referees, people who have taught you in the university, who knows your strengths and your weaknesses. And these people should be people you know very well that will be able to provide very honest reference report for you. Don't go and nominate somebody that will give a very negative impression about you to them. They wouldn't, I mean, it will affect you. So always look for people you know that can provide not just bias. I mean, it doesn't have to be biased, but a very sound judgment of who you are, your strengths and your weaknesses, okay, and how you will be able to contribute value to this program and how you are deserving to be awarded the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So you mention the name, the full name of the person, okay, where they work, and the email addresses of all the 3 referees that you probably would nominate. And the thing is, once you have nominated the referee, you cannot change the referee. Once you have nominated a referee during your application, you will not have the power to change that referee. So what happened is that Commonwealth Scholarships Commission only gets to request references after you must have been selected by the university for your award to be confirmed as a Commonwealth Shared Scholar. So Commonwealth Scholarships Commission gets to do eligibility check, request for references, and confirmation of awards. So at that process, if you submitted multiple applications and you get selected for more than one award, 2 awards, you probably will receive email requesting for references for all of them. But what your referees will do is that it will now be your responsibility to inform your referees that you have been selected for a Commonwealth Scholarship, Shared Scholarship Award, and that you'll be required to submit references. And reference submission process takes about 3 weeks. So you would send your referees your full name, the universities you applied to, and the various programs that you applied to that perhaps you have been nominated in more than one university. So just your name, your full name, as it is written and returned by the CSE, your CSE ID, your scholar ID, which will be sent to you, a unique ID that will be sent to you, the university and the program, and then you send it to your referees, telling them how they should write and submit the reference report, because CSE usually provide guidelines on how the reference report should be submitted. So always make sure that you share, the right information with your referees for them to be able to submit the references for you. And most of the times, the most appropriate email addresses to be nominated are usually institutional email addresses. But there have been cases and instances where unofficial email addresses were submitted in situations where official email addresses are impossible to be provided. And people in such peculiar situations have also been selected. However, it's always advisable that professional or official email addresses should be submitted for your application. So having said that, I know that there are people on this session tonight that have already started either writing their essays or are already done writing their essays, or some are yet to find their way trying to apply, and some people are still contemplating if they want to apply or they will not want to apply. So I think at this point in time, I would just make it open. So we are going to consider the essays one after the other. So it will be kind of a discussion session at this point in time. Okay, so while you are filling your Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application form, there is a place you will get to after you are done filling in all your details, because I wouldn't want to spend time talking about all that, because it is usual for us to fill applications forms online, and these details may not be different from many other applications that you perhaps must have been filling online. So I would just like us to talk about the most important parts of it. So this is the you are, for those of you that probably want to fill in the application form soon, if you have any challenge, it's always good you ask questions. But I think most part of the application form is really self-explanatory, and I find it very difficult to believe that people get to ask questions for things that have already been explained. Okay, for things that have already been explained. So I probably would like to just go straight to the application form properly. If there are questions for academic prices and publications and employment aspects, we probably would come back to that. But I think it's important we treat the most important aspect of the application process, because that is the main thing. So I was talking about the referees, where you get to list the full name of the referee, the title of the referee, the job title, the email address, You repeat it to make sure that you're not making a mistake. And then relationship with you. This could be academic referee or professional referee. So that is enough. So you probably list up to 3. So development impact. This is the most important part. So like I was saying, here they require you to submit university application number if known. So if you don't know it, you can leave it. But so long as you have submitted an application for admission in the UK university, the school will provide you a unique student identity number, okay? So you probably will just copy it and paste it here so they can use that to link your application. So it is important that, let me also state this, it is important that you use the same email address for your university application and also for your Commonwealth Shared Scholarship application. And those of us that like using unprofessional emails for important things like this, please don't. I mean, you should use a standard email that contains at least 2 of your name, either your first name and your surname, or your 2 first names for those of us that have more than 1 first name. So use, a standard email address just for your own good, and use the same email address for both your application, scholarship application, and admission as well. So here you'll be required to select 3 sustainable development goals. One is important, which is the first, which is like the main goal, and then the others are kind of attachments to the first. So what they want to see is that if you want to achieve sustainable development goal 1, okay, end poverty. If you are ending poverty, definitely you will probably contribute to achieving goal 2, which is ending hunger. So if you are ending poverty, automatically you probably will be creating opportunity for more people to go to school. So providing quality education, so that could be maybe contributing to goal 4. Take for instance, my sustainable development goal is goal 16, which is to promote justice, peace, global peace, and good governance. Hello, can you guys hear me? So my sustainable development goal is actually goal 16. So I want to achieve global peace and security, not just in my home country, but also in Africa. So achieving sustainable development goal 16, global peace and security, once you've been able to deal with insecurity, once you've been able to deal with conflicts and violence, crimes, and human security threats, you will be able to also build sustainable cities and communities. And when cities are sustainable, communities are peaceful, that will definitely create opportunity for a peaceful environment for learning and for education, which probably will help also in achieving sustainable development goal for quality education. So this is how they expect you to link to select your sustainable development goals. And then in the course of your development impact essays, you will be able to talk about them elaborately and be able to link them appropriately. So looking at the essays, there are 4 essays actually. In total, there are 11 essays. So they have development impact essays, which is 4 development impact essays, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hello, can you please mute yourself?
Hi, Chisom, can you mute the person that has their audio on or something?
I think I've done that. She's still unmuted herself. Hello, Hester. Come
Esther, please mute yourself. Okay, please, we can go ahead, please.
All right, thank you. So you have 11 essays, you have development impact, which is like 4 essays. And then you also have the second part, you have study outline, which contains a short outline of study and detailed plan of study. So the third part of the essays involves your objectives during your award, your objectives or career plans 5 years following the award, and also your long-term career plan. And then the fourth part talks about your personal statements, while the fifth part talks about your leadership and volunteering experiences that you probably would need to mention as well. So I believe that there are 2 categories of people on this session tonight. First are those who are currently applying, have started the applications already, and secondly, those who are yet to start. So I would like to now open the floor tonight so we can discuss. So if you have started your applications already for this session, I just want somebody to ask questions based on this development impact essays 1. Okay, so the question is the Commonwealth scholarships. Okay, so let me just read through it. So the Commonwealth scholarships in the UK are funded by the UK Department for International Development. These have actually been changed to the UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. An important selection criterion is the potential contributions that you will make to international development if you are awarded a scholarship. Provide a development impact statement in 4 parts, explaining 1, how your proposed study relates to a development issue at the global, national, and local level, and B, development issues connected to your student CAC team and the wider sector. So do we have people who have already started their application process? If you started the application process, you could just ask a question related to this, or you could just say what you understand by this statement. So I'll be able to address it appropriately. Do we have anyone like that? You can unmute yourself and speak. That is, if you are currently applying or you've written this particular essay, just tell me what you understand by this question and probably how you have approached it. So I will be able to help in terms of sharing with you. So I believe that while I'm sharing with you, persons who are yet to start will also get to learn from that as well. So if you have started your applications already, you could just speak just by what you understand by these statements and how you've approached it so far. Do we have anyone like that?
Yes.
All right.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. My name is Ezekiel. From River State. Okay. What I understand by this question is with regards to the first development impact part 1. I think it's all about probably identifying a problem, which could be a local problem, a regional problem, or probably a national problem. And I also feel if you've identified the problem, you need to, by statistics, probably what has been recorded over time, you can maybe quote what WHO says about the problem let's say, for instance, maybe maternal mortality. You can give figures about maternal mortality in Nigeria and globally. Then you now link it up to SDG, maybe SDG 3. There's a particular part of the SDG that talks about trying to take care of maternal mortality and even neonatal mortality. So then you now mention something like you want to do this particular course because you feel it will equip you with the skills, knowledge and skills to be able to contribute to the reduction in this problem. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so you're actually in order. So they've asked you a question: how does your proposed study relate to a development problem? One, at the global level, national and local level. So now let's look at the Sustainable Development Goals. I mentioned earlier that the objectives of this scholarship is to achieve Sustainable Development Goals. So I probably should be using just one particular goal for the rest of my explanation. So let's look at Sustainable Development Goal 3, okay? Good health and well-being. So let me read through this because let's make it practical. So good health and well-being, ensuring healthy lives and promoting the well-being for all at all ages is essential to sustainable development. Significant strides have been made in increasing life expectancy and reducing some of the common killers associated with child and maternal mortality. Major progress has been made on increasing access to clean water and sanitation, reducing malaria, tuberculosis, polio, and the spread of HIV/AIDS. However, many efforts are needed to fully eradicate a wide range of diseases and address many different persistent and emerging global health issues. So this is where the capacity gap is, where you see, however, many efforts are needed. So there's a capacity gap. So now looking at Nigeria now, there is malaria in Nigeria. There's malaria in your village. There is malaria in your city, in your community. There is malaria, and you know that malaria is one of the diseases that kills people the most in that part of the world. Because if you have malaria, you could easily get access to anti-malaria drugs. But when people are poor and they are not able to afford anti-malaria drugs or go to the hospital to get treated because they do not have the money. And treating malaria could be very cheap. Yes, if you have up to like 5,000, 6,000, you can treat malaria. But do you know that there are people that die because they don't have that money to treat malaria? Do you get? So now, if you look at these targets, the goals, goal 3 targets, let me quickly go to one of the targets and read through this. Okay. There is a particular place that addresses to reduce malaria. So I'm coming, please. Let me look for this because I want to be kind of practical to help you in terms of structuring your essays better. Yes, so the goal is that by 2030, the world actually wants to end the epidemics of HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria. Malaria is specifically mentioned, and you know malaria is also a disease. So how are you going to know that malaria, this goal has been achieved by 2030? These are the targets. These are the targets. One of the ways you can know that malaria related deaths have been reduced is the fact that malaria incidences per 1,000 population. So let's assume that currently, if 80 persons, let me say if 800 persons out of Well, let me say if 80% out of 1,000 people die of malaria in your country within a space of 2 years or every year, 80% out of 1,000 persons dies a year due to prevalence of malaria and related sicknesses. They want to know that after the end of your study, you should be able to say that out of these 80 people that die, you will be able to reduce this number from 80 deaths to 60 deaths. That means that you are contributing to saving 20% per year out of 1,000 people. So they use metrics, they use indicators to measure. So what I'm trying to say is that development is measurable, okay? Development is measurable. So they want to know how you will be able to contribute. Now, globally, malaria is a global health issue. If you come to Nigeria, malaria is also a global health issue. And then in your state, in Rivers State, we have a lot of mosquitoes in that part of the country because we live around the riverine area where there is enough water that breeds malaria. So, breeds mosquitoes. And of course, mosquito bites causes malaria. So majority of people, I was staying in Port Harcourt actually. So majority of people that lives in that part of the country, they're mostly vulnerable to malaria-related sicknesses. Yes, people are mostly vulnerable to malaria-related sicknesses. So how are you going to contribute? Because it's already a local problem already. So globally talks about the world at large, nationally talks about Nigeria, and locally talks about your community, your state. How is malaria a problem? So you will be able to kind of give an insight of how malaria is a global problem, a national problem, and also a local problem. So you look at statistics from the World Health Organization. That is the best place for you to get health-related statistics. So the World Health Organization could tell you that globally there are over 5 million people that dies of malaria every year. Now, this is the tentative statistics I'm giving. So if you read about malaria on the World Health WHO website, they could tell you that maybe 5 million people, 2 million people, 1 million people dies of malaria every year. And this probably should be coming from low and middle income countries, because in the UK, nobody talking about malaria. Malaria is not the sickness that kills people here. So you know that this problem is related to developing or low middle income countries, particularly Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. That is where the bulk of this problem is situated, but it's still a global problem. And then you look at the statistics. So because when global reports are made, they try as much as possible to provide national breakdown. So if 5 million people suffers from malaria or dies from malaria every year, how many people in Nigeria suffers from this? How many people are at risk in Nigeria? Okay, so once you are able to get the global figure and the national figure, the local figure, the figure from Rivers State, since you are from Rivers State, becomes inconsequential, because you could now make a case, because it's the number of infections, number of related deaths in Nigeria that makes up the figure from the different states in Nigeria, that makes up the figure of the total number of infections or related deaths in Nigeria. So your major focus should now be how you can help to reduce the number of malaria-related deaths in Nigeria. Okay, because if this is done, since you are from Rivers State and you're based in Rivers State, by the time you return back to Nigeria from the UK university, of course, your focus will be, you probably start your work from Rivers State. So from Rivers State, you can move to Bayelsa, you can move to Delta, you can move to other states, you can move to different states. I mean, in terms of contributing, move to Owerri, you move to Ebonyi, you move to Enugu, you can move to different states to solve this problem, because majority of people in that hazes are vulnerable to malaria. So how do your proposed study relate to? So let's assume that you want to study MSc Global Health at Cranfield University. Now, what they want to know is not just your master's degree program, but also the researches that you want to carry out. And that is why they will always, in your detailed plan of study, there is a place they will ask you to provide your research topic. This research topic should be closely related to the problem you want to solve, because it's like you can't be saying what you don't know. So you must have identified a problem. That is why when people say that they don't know how to structure, they don't know how to come up with a research topic, I just laugh, because it means that first, they have not done sufficient research to know the problem they want to solve. Because if you want to solve a problem, it will be easy for you to be able to come up with a topic, because the topic is to solve the problem, the statement of the problem that you've identified already. So you will be able to now make a case. How does it relate to a development problem at the global, national, and local level? You already know malaria is a global issue. Nationally, is also a serious problem. It kills people. So you begin to quote statistics and then mention the areas you are currently contributing. Let's assume that you studied health-related at undergraduate level, and you must have volunteered with NGOs, or you must have joined to carry out free healthcare programs, sensitizations in different communities. This could also show part of the ways you have been contributing to solving this problem. Let's assume that you join an NGO or a team that distributed free insecticide-treated nets or malaria, free malaria tests, or provide anti-malaria drugs to people. Before I came to the UK, I in my church, there was this River State agency actually that hosted anti-malaria campaign event in my church, where they came to distribute mosquito nets, they ran tests, and also gave drugs to people. Now, I was not actually free to attend, but one of the ways I contributed was the fact that I invited people. I went out on the streets to invite people, and they all attended. People I invited, they all attended. So this is part of the ways I have contributed. And those people that attended that event, they got mosquito nets, insecticide-treated mosquito nets for free, and they also got malaria drugs. Some of them, people that went there on time. In fact, this agency, in collaboration with health NGOs, and also fumigated houses of, I think, over 500 people, according to the promise they made earlier. So there were incidences, they went to people's compounds to fumigate the houses. I mean, these are the ways I have contributed, even though I'm not going to talk about it at this level. But let's assume that I'm applying to something that is related to preventing malaria now. I could probably say that this is what I have done. Now, this is where I am not even directly involved. There are people that could be directly involved, also going to communities, providing sensitizations, providing free medical outreaches. I remember when I was in youth service in my fellowship, Nigerian Christian Corpus Fellowship, NCCF. We do go for rural rugged evangelism, and during rural rugged, one of the things we do was the fact that we do free medical tests for communities, and we distribute drugs. Now, as a zonal coordinator at that time, I go to pharmacies in the community, because I served in Owo. So I go to pharmacies in Owo. I submitted letters. They gave us drugs. Some pharmacies gave us drugs. and some gave us cash, which we took to the state during the rural game. So when community people came, after tests, after treating them, after the counseling, they gave them drugs, they gave them treatment. And of course, in NYC, you have medical doctors and people that are health related, medical lab scientists who run the test. They do all these things just to help the people. These are part of the ways I have contributed. So you must have done things that are related to the problem you want to solve. So you begin to tell them the things that you have done in terms of solving this problem over time. So you must also focus on the fact that there is a capacity gap in solving this problem by 2030, which is the gap you want to help to fill. So you begin to tell them how this master's program in the UK would help you to provide the needed support in terms of achieving this goal and solving this problem in your home country. You mentioned probably the fact that it will give you the skills and the knowledge that you need, and then how your research project as well will contribute in solving this problem. So now they also ask a question. How does the issue relate to development problem connected to your student CSC team and the wider sector? So if you come to the CSC application website, let's come back to the CSC application website. So let's assume that okay, so I want to look at one of the courses I think I selected from Cranfield University, MSc Public Health. So let's come here and look at strengthening health systems and capacity. So you see, if you come to strengthening health systems and capacity, you will see courses that are related to solving our problem. So you will see Brunel University London, MSc Public Health and Health Promotion. Now, and Bangor University, like MSc Public Health and Health Promotion. Look at the same, almost like the same courses. And this is the aspect that probably...
Sorry. Ezekiel, are you sharing your screen?
Can you see my screen?
Because the screen I can see is static. It's just like the outline. But are you sharing what you are talking about right now?
Yeah, I'm sharing. You can't see it.
Okay. No, I can't see it.
Please let me stop sharing and share again.
Okay, because I'm sure that a lot of people may have also been lost.
I'm sorry about that. So sorry. So can you guys see my screen now?
Exactly, I can see it now. Maybe that was a challenge.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. So if you look at Bangor University and Brunel University London, you see MSc Public Health and Health Promotion. So this is probably one of the best places that you could actually, one of the best courses. Maybe you would choose if you want to talk about public health related issues, MSc Global Public Policy and the rest. So you now go back to the Commonwealth Scholarship, the CSC team, the 6 teams, and specifically look at them. So strengthening health systems and capacity, right? So you look at, okay, strengthening health systems and capacity. When you read this, you understand the focus of the CSC and the things that they do within this particular team. Now, in order for you to have a broader understanding of how you probably would want to link that, you read this and research what the UK government current interest in terms of public health issues in Nigeria, see how the UK government has been contributing. So I believe you guys actually did not see the blank application form I shared, right? Can you see the blank application form?
Yeah,
Yes,
I can see that.
it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
So how does your study relate to development issue connected to your CAC team? So you should be able to link how MSc global health and promotion is related to strengthening health systems and capacity. But even to strengthen health systems and capacity, you coming to the UK to study MSc in public health, beyond the fact that it could provide opportunity to human capital development in your home country, it also trains you to build capacity to contribute as well. So now you look at the fact that this particular course is closely related to the team of the CSC under which your course actually falls in. And then when we talk about the wider sector, they are talking about economics, political, social, and environmental aspect of societal development. So maybe you studying this course at the end of your program, when you return back to your home country, you will be able to influence policies. Yeah, you'll be able to influence policies that promote healthcare development in your country. You will be able to influence in terms of contribute in terms of providing maybe needed knowledge to people that are in positions of authority or people working at different levels of society to be able to contribute in terms of solving this problem. So they expect that at the wider sector, this could include maybe policy making, this could include capacity building. So let's assume that you work on malaria, you work on a course that is, okay, you did MSc Public Health, and now you're done with your study. This course has given you, and the CSC program has given you the necessary skills that you need to contribute to development in your home country. When you return back to your country, now you will be able to help in terms of fostering collaborations with international bodies, with national agencies, with even governments. You begin to involve practically in maybe writing for development. You'll just be able to influence policies in promoting healthcare development and particularly addressing this issue in your home country. So these are some of the issues that the experts talk about, and you should be able to tell them how closely your switching program relate to the CSC team. Let's assume that you've selected MSc Global Health and Promotion. So you should be able to tell them how global health and promotion is connected to strengthening health systems and capacity. And I believe this is clear enough. So because of our time, I think I would really like to rush. So now come to development impact 2, and you just have 200 words. If you exceed 200 words, you won't even be able to continue. So yeah, now they expect, so how you intend to apply your new skills and qualifications when you return home. The best way for you to address this question is for you to go to the program website. Let's assume you want to study MSc Global Health and Promotion at Bangor University. Go to the course website. The course will definitely list the skills that you would acquire. You can acquire research skills, you can acquire different types of skills that are needed. You definitely would build both research, personal development. You're going to also acquire skills like networking and the rest, critical thinking, be able to carry out independent analysis studies. So the skills that you're definitely going to acquire are listed. If you will go to the lab to conduct experiments and the rest, those skills that you acquire are listed. So how will you apply these skills when you return home with your UK qualification. Now, here they expect to know exactly where you will be working when you return back to the UK. When you return back from the UK to your home country, which organization are you going to be working? Which company are you going to be working? Are you going to be working for the fact that you studied global health and promotions? You probably should be working in a health-related institution. Maybe you could decide to work with WHO in Nigeria, or maybe with a hospital, with the state government or federal government, Ministry of Health. You could work anywhere. If you're working in a hospital, you probably can return back to the hospital. So tell them how you would apply these skills, okay? Tell them exactly how you apply these skills. Will you apply these skills in terms of providing expert or professional advice at your place of work? What exactly are you going to do with these skills and qualifications that you have acquired? You want to work in an organization, tell them the impact that you want to make, and tell them how working in that organization is going to help you to achieve your development impact goals that you are setting. So you can mention them, and also collaboration that probably you would build, because you can't come to the UK to study MSc Global Health and Promotion and you will not want to collaborate with the World Health Organization and other health-related agencies and NGOs that are contributing towards solving the problem you've identified in your home country. So tell them how you are going to partner with all these skills. So if you have built networking skills in the UK, tell them how building networking skills that probably you will build will also help you to network widely with all these agencies, with individuals and with organizations, to foster collaborations, to come up with, with programs that you can implement to solve this program. Let's assume that you return back from the UK, you could decide to maybe carry out malaria prevention outreaches and free medical services to communities. Considering the fact that you work in the health sector, you'll be able to build collaboration with people that are working in the same sector with you. You should be able to seek for support from the Ministry of Health, World Health Organization. If you write to the World Health Organization as a Commonwealth ambassador, as a Commonwealth alumni, that you want to carry out a anti-malaria campaign in communities, you want to provide free medical care to people, and tell them how you've been able to come up with a group of medical professionals that, as a team, that you want to help in different communities, that you want to support the people in terms of providing the assistance that they need, like free medical checkups, providing drugs, insecticide-treated nets. You collaborate with organizations. So basically, you are just in a position to use your influence and network to solve these problems. And you are now writing to World Health Organizations for support. They are gladly going to support you because you are helping them to solve a problem which they themselves, they want to solve, but perhaps they may not be able to do it at that particular point in time, or perhaps that community or those communities are beyond their reach. So they're probably going to help you, give you the necessary support that you need, and perhaps some of their staff are probably going to monitor the exercise you get. So this is not an opportunity for you to make money for yourself, but for you to genuinely contribute to development in your home country by solving problems. So this is how you can apply these skills. Now, this may not be related to what you are applying for, but you should be able to figure out exactly how you apply these skills based on the explanation I have given here. And then the development impact thread is that they expect you, what you expect will change in development terms following your studies, including the outcomes that you aim to achieve. Now, I showed you the SDGs targets and indicators, because I mentioned earlier that development is measurable. What are the outcomes that you want to achieve? Okay, you want to significantly reduce the number of malaria related deaths and infections in Nigeria. That is your focus. Now broaden on this, okay? And tell them the number of communities that probably, the number of people that you want to reach out to, the outcome you want to achieve. You want to reduce the number of malaria-related deaths, right? And you also want to help in reducing the vulnerability of people to malaria-related infections and the rest. Now, for you to be able to write this properly, you should be able to do significant research in this area to be able to learn what exactly is involved and how you are going to contribute. What are the outcomes that you want to achieve? What do you intend to achieve? Of course, you saw that sustainable development goals, they were clear targets. So this talks about the target. The target talks about the outcome. Okay, the target talks about the outcome, and they now ask, what is the time frame for their implementation? So the time frame could just be that you can decide to do this to short term, medium term, and long term. So the short term could be that, okay, within 1 month after arrival or 2 months after arrival to 6 months, that could be short term. Now, the medium term could be 6 months to 1 year. Then long term could be 1 year to 2 years to 3 years to 4 years, as the case may be. So what is the time frame for the implementation? So in the short term, immediately you return back to your country, you probably want to take a role in that organization or in that agency to start working. You get to start working. And then within this period, you must have identified, you must be able to put a team together, because before you leave the UK, you already have a development impact work that you want to implement when you return back to your own country. While preparing for this session, I was reading through my Commonwealth Shared Scholarship essays that I wrote for last year, and I was so amazed that this was exactly what I wrote 1 year ago that I'm currently doing. And everything I'm doing currently revolves around what I've written. Now, imagine that I have written nonsense. I probably would be trying to find my way, even if I've got the scholarship. Yeah, you can write nonsense and maybe get it. I'm not sure if it's possible anyway, but make sure that your intention should not be that you want to japa. Commonwealth Shared Scholarship does not give you opportunity to japa. If you want to japa, you can go and look for money and japa. Except you want to contribute to sustainable development, you want to contribute to solving problems, this scholarship is not going to help you to japa. They're not interested in your japaring. They're interested in giving you the skills and knowledge you need to solve this problem. So when you return back, within that 2 months to 3 months to 6 months, you must have been able to put a team together and foster collaborations. So within 6 months to 1 year, you must have started the implementation in earnest. You must have visited. So within that 6 months that you have, within the first 6 months, you must have conducted, let me say, an impact assessment in the community. You must have assessed the community that you want to visit. You must have come up with a program that you want. So how you want to go about the program, all this, you can do them within the first 2 months to 6 months of your arrival. You must have been able to written to organizations like the World Health Organization, the Ministry of Health, and different agencies, even philanthropic individuals that probably you want to collaborate with. So within this period, you can be doing that. And then the medium term talks about the implementation in earnest. So then you've already visited the communities during the short term. So the medium term talks about you can start going to the communities to be kind of providing these services that they need. Now you can also start in terms of, let me say, you can also start, I'm trying to admit someone. So you can also start within this period, you can write publications that people will get to it. You can write policy papers. You can organize conferences. You can organize sensitization. I mean, do great things. You can hold programs on radio, try to educate people, do things. How the time frame for the implementation, what are the things that you want to do? So they expect that you should be able to tell them what exactly you want to do. and the time duration you'll be able to do it. And who are going to be the beneficiaries? This could be women, it could be children, it could be men, it could be different communities, it could be states. Just mention them. They want to know. Probably the government is going to benefit from the work you are going to be doing. Probably you write, you're going to influence policy outcomes. So the government could benefit from your project and the work you're going to be doing. Hospitals, healthcare workers can also benefit. So what are going to be, who are the beneficiaries? This could be local communities, it could be children, it could be women, it could be people, but just make sure that you are giving them an exact idea of who these beneficiaries would be. Then how can the impact of your work be best measured? Now, here you look at the number of outreaches that you have carried out, number of sensitizations, the number of communities that you have visited, the reduction in terms of malaria-related deaths, since your work is on malaria, the reduction in terms of malaria-related deaths, maybe per 1,000, per 100 in your community or in your country. So just tell them how this could be best measured. Maybe you have written publication, because when you publish, when you write academic publications related to that problem, even policymakers will get to read it, and you'll be able to influence policy outcomes. So you should be able to tell them how the impact of your work could be best measured. It could also be measured based on the collaboration that you have been able to foster, by the number of sensitizations that you have done, the things that you have done. Be able to mention them. How would they be able to measure the outcome of your work? So let me go back to the SDGs. I hope I should find it. Yes, let me come here. So if you come to that is goal. Great. So now this is it. This is one of the ways you can measure the impact of the work. So the target is that by 2030, the world wants to achieve 3 sustainable development goals, good health and well-being, achieve universal health coverage, including financial risk protection, access to quality essential healthcare services, and access to safe, effective, quality, and affordable essential medicine and vaccine for all. So this is the target. The indicators is what you use to measure the impact of the work, that everything that they're probably going to be doing to achieve this goal. It is this indicator. So you are expected to devise indicators, provide indicators that they can use to measure your work. Don't just go and write, this is what I want to do. Tell them exactly how your work would be measured. Okay, so that is important. Exactly how your work will be measured. That is what they expect you to tell them. I think I am slow because it's like we are behind schedule. So let me quickly rush. So I think I've already thought out how the impact of your work could be best measured. Then they come to, I think I quickly would go through this, so we probably will get to discuss it all over again. So proposed study in the UK. They say you should provide a short outline of your proposed study. Remember, I mentioned earlier that when you talk about study, they're not just referring to the master's program you want to study, but your research as well. So proposed study and research, this could be written for an audience that does not have any prior knowledge of the subject and must not be overtly technical. Any abbreviation or special terms must be explained. See, the best thing for you to do is that avoid abbreviations in your essay. Just avoid it completely. Avoid it. Except you want to talk about, even you want to talk about World Health Organizations, you must have first written it in full, like World Health Organization, then put it on that bracket before you can start abbreviating. When you talk about, okay, national MBS, you talk about MBS now. Talk about MBS, that is for Nigeria now, it could be National Bureau of Statistics. Nobody in the UK know what MBS is. People that want to review your essay, they don't know what is MBS. So if you're going to quote according to MBS, they don't know what is MBS. So you automatically shooting at yourself. So the best thing for you to do is to just write according to National Bureau of Statistics, Nigeria. Yes, they want to know. So that is the best thing you can do. So now your proposed study in the UK, they want you to provide a short outline. Now, the short outline is the fact that they want you to just mention your research problem, the research problem that you want to undertake, a fundamental research on. So the research problem you want to undertake, just mention your problem, the problem, and provide an outline of how you will carry out your research. For those of us that are in the social sciences or the arts and humanities, let me basically say non-STEM, who don't go to the lab to conduct tests, probably they want to know how exactly you will carry out your research when you want to start. So they are looking at, okay, what is the first thing you are going to do? What is the second thing you are going to do? What is the third thing you are going to do? What is the fourth thing you are going to do before final submission? So probably your first assignment is the fact that you're probably going to review literatures about this problem. If you want to carry out a research, it's a normal research procedure, just the way you did back in your undergraduate program in Nigeria. So you review literature. After reviewing literature, you collect data, you start the drafting and writing of the project or the research work that you want to do. You probably, after writing it, you probably would give it to your supervisor, maybe for him to just go through it and be able to advise you. After then, you do your corrections. You complete your project, probably you can present it at the faculty or department if that is important and if it's a requirement, and then final submission. Then for those persons that are doing those in STEM, you can also consider when you'll be collecting your data, collecting your sample and the rest. Please and please don't write something that will require you to travel back from Nigeria to go and collect data, because where are you going to get the money? You are doing a one-year master's. You can't be traveling from Nigeria, from the UK to Nigeria or to Kenya or to Cameroon to go and collect data. So always make sure that you should be flexible enough to use secondary, be doing kind of secondary research instead of doing a core primary research that will require you to maybe go to the country to collect data. You are not doing, if it's a PhD, fine, but at master's level, it's always good for you to use secondary data. So just list, as you can see, just 125 words, and then do not write things that are technical. So if you are from the STEM where you get to apply some special or technical terminologies in terms of your writing process, please avoid them. Because some of the people that will be reading your essays, they may not be doing the program you are doing. So when you write something that they don't know, they can just maybe just skip your work. Yeah, they can skip it because you are stressing them, because nobody wants to be reading what they don't know about. So that is why CSC tell you that it should be non-technical so that anybody can understand it, because anybody can read this. It could be somebody from, maybe somebody in your program, it could be somebody that's not in your program that probably will be reviewing your essay. So make sure that your writings are not overtly technical, for a non-expert audience to understand as well. And then provide a detailed plan of your proposed study. The selection panel will want to understand why you have selected your proposed course and the university. See, you'll be making a mistake. They said why you have chosen your proposed course and the universities and why you want to undertake this course in the UK. What is it that you are looking for in a course, and how your chosen courses relate to your objective, and then any dissertation topic you have in mind. the best way to start answering this question again is to refer back to the development impact essay one that you have written, where you identify the problem. Because you coming to the UK to study that you want to solve that problem that you have identified. And that is the same problem that you should be able to mention in your outline of study, because the outline of study contains basically your research work that you probably want to do. There are people that will can advise you to maybe talk about the program you want to say, like the course, but where different universities could apply different method of selecting. But to the best of my understanding, this is what I did, and it worked for me. People did something different and it worked for them. So there is no straight path in this journey, but you should be able to do the right thing in the right way. So they expect that the best way for you to answer this question is for you to be able to remind the reviewer the problem you want to solve, because it is that problem that you have identified that prompted your decision to select the course that you've selected at the university. They want to know why you have selected your course and university. So the best way for you to do is you should be able to link your program, the master's program you've selected. Talk about the things that the researches that probably you want to do. How rigorous is this program is? How does this program specifically address the problem that you want to solve? For you to know that, you have to go back and read the program, the course description again. Are there specific modules? Are there specific modules that you have identified that are related to probably what you want to do? So take for instance, I am here at Coventry University studying MA Terrorism, International Crime and Global Security, and I want to provide in terms of contribute to achieving global peace and security in Nigeria. And one of the issues that is common is the fact that we have part of the insecurity challenges we actually face is terrorism. So now here I am doing international terrorism as a course, where I will be currently working and writing a policy brief on the state of terrorism in Nigeria in 2022. So in my second semester, I will be doing a course that is terrorism and the state. Terrorism and the state. So you could see that like there is a direct link of how this program will be helping in terms of giving me the knowledge and skills that I will need to also contribute in solving most of these problems in my home country when I'm given the opportunity to work with the right people when I return back to my home country after my award. So they want to know the reasons why you've selected this course. What are the key factors? What are the things that prompted you? What are the things that you consider most important to you that have made you to select this course? Why the university? Now, this could be the university could provide an intense atmosphere for learning for you. They could provide the resources that probably are available that you definitely need. University could provide the support you would have as a student. That is why it's always good for you to select the university. To research university appropriately before selecting. Don't just so university because you want to just go to that university or because you like the name or because they want to know exactly why you are selecting this university. Is it that the university provides some facilities or opportunities, career paths for you? What are the things that make this university unique that is making you select this university? Don't go and say, okay, because the university is highly ranked. See, they know that the universities are highly ranked. You don't need to tell them that. They don't care to know about how the university is highly ranked by QS University ranking, by Times Higher Education, by this and that. Don't waste any word, because in CSC application process, every word is important. So don't waste your words telling them things that are not necessary. Tell them why you are selecting this university based on how it relates to you in terms of building your capacity, in terms of helping you to solve the problem, and why you want to study, why you want to undertake this study in the UK. And I can tell you that the easiest way for you to link the UK is not to tell them how beautiful the UK is, why is the first world country and the rest. See, tell them the things you are going to learn in the UK that will help you to solve your problem in your home country. And it's as simple as that. The UK is providing you a whole lot in networking, in terms of building skills, in terms of research, there are things you probably will need to learn when you come to the UK. So you should be able to make more research about what are the things that you stand to benefit coming to the UK to study. The UK can also help to like kind of restructure your life entirely. When you go back to your home country, you probably will become a better person. You can so be able to tell them, don't tell them how beautiful the UK is and blah, 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 blah. Those things wouldn't count. That is not what they are looking out for. So please mention specific things like maybe there's a particular, okay, let's assume that you want to do MSc global health and promotion. So maybe probably when you come to the UK, maybe you will be able to work with or maybe visit the NHS, maybe health institutions and organizations in the UK that probably you will either visit, either work with or collaborate with, be able to learn from. And when you return back, you will be able to implement this and probably how you could incorporate most of this to your development impact work. These are good examples and good reasons for you to come to the UK to study. And then what is it that you are looking for in a course and how your student course relates to your objective? Now, yeah, you should be talking about the fact that these are the specific skills that you are looking for. This course provides these skills. You want to study a course that is intense, a course that provides you research and communication apprehension skills and the rest, number of skills that you need to work. This course is providing them. Tell them if the course is intense, tell them how you've been looking forward to study a very challenging course. See, me, I've been looking forward to study a challenging course, and now I am studying a really challenging course, actually. And it's really funny anyway. So tell them the thing that is making you to select this course, okay, and how it relates to your objective. Is it your career objective, okay, or maybe is it your development impact work? Now, I am doing terrorism, international crime, and global security, and this course is kind of positioning me to work either at international level or at the national level. But I probably will be working either at the United Nations, UNODC, at the United Nations Office of Drug and Crime, maybe African Union, related international organizations that focus on addressing issues on organized crime, conflict, violence, security, terrorism, building strong institutions, fighting corruption, anti-corruption, a whole of these issues. So these are the things that probably I saw when I selected the program, and now it relates directly to my program in terms of helping me not just to achieve my career goals as well, but also help me in achieving my development impact goals I have set. And then any topic for dissertation, tell them that in the course of your master's, this is what you want to research on. Tell them, they want to know. Then your career plan. So career plan, basically you could talk about, you could divide them. Okay, your objective during the award could include that probably you want to learn research skills. You want to learn diversity skills. So research skills, you can learn different research skills, quantitative methods, qualitative methods. You'll be able to publish, write academic papers, be able to engage in intense academic research related to your area and a problem you want to solve. As of Friday and this morning, I have reviewed over 50 articles just because I want to write about 400 words for just 400 words in my research design. So you could see how intense this is in terms of helping me to read through all these articles, to be able to select maybe just 10 or 11 that I needed to work with. But for me to be able to select the best one that I need to review more to be able to select, to be able to make good objective choices. So you could get research skills, you could learn research skills, acquire research skills, you could learn diversity skills. The UK is one of the diverse countries in the world where people are coming from all over the world. So you probably will be interacting and networking, maybe relating with scholars from different countries, from different cultures, different religions. So this probably should help you to build diversity skills that even after the end of your program, you'll be able to return back to your home country and be able to relate with people at a professional level without being judgmental, for you to be able to be neutral in your dealings with people, not trying to discriminate people because of their religion, their culture, or their ethnicity and the rest. So you'll be able to learn diversity skills, racial skills, and network also, because you come into the UK as a Commonwealth scholar, where you have scholars from over 30 countries. You'll be able to network while people from different countries are here. And beyond the Commonwealth scholarships community, you also have your university, where you also have people from different countries. So you'll be able to build networks that probably tomorrow you will leverage back to be able to solve development problems in your home country, because these people are also going to be returning back to their home countries. And tomorrow you could maybe build better relationships with them. It could be at state level or at organizational level. So you could talk about the diversity skills, the racial skills, networking skills, and the rest, that a whole lot. So when you want to talk about objectives during the award, focus more on the skills. And also, if in the diversity skills, you can also talk about how you intend to also explore the UK in terms of exploring that development, cultural side. I mean, having fun. Yeah, it's part of it. Yeah, it's part of your application process and your scholarship. So then they also want to expect objectives, career plans, 5 years following the award. Now, you would make a mistake when you are writing this part of the essay and you are not referring back to your first development impact work. Always make sure that your essays are consistent. You cannot be talking about you want to return back to Nigeria, you want to work with a particular hospital, you want to work with a particular agency or ministry at your development impact essay 1, where you want to apply your skills, and then you come back and tell them that you want to go and do something different. Please be consistent. Yes, but for here, you can try to expand. Always make sure that you write in paragraphs, okay? Write in paragraphs. If you have 4 points to make it 4 paragraphs. Don't write like you're writing everything as if people that are reading your essay, they don't have any work to do. Make sure that you paragraph your work so it will be easier for them to read. So you can have up to like 5 plans. What do you want to do 5 years following your plan? You want to return back to your home country, right? You want to start working maybe with a particular NGO, with a particular agency, or with the government, with a particular hospital. When you return back 5, this is what you want to be doing. Now, within these 5 years, you can also start your PhD if you want to go into academics. Within these 5 years, you want to talk about your professional experiences, how you want to grow in the next 5 years. But while you're writing this part of the essay, always make sure that if you are mentioning a particular aspect that you want to be in, tell them how this will be giving you opportunity to also carry out the CSC development impact work alongside. Please do not make the mistake of dropping development impact work. So let's assume that currently I'm studying for MSc, MA Terrorism, International Crime and Global Security at Coventry University here. So let's assume that I return back to my home country. I could decide to work with the government, maybe the federal government as an advisor, or in a capacity. I could also decide to work with international organizations. But in all these things I do, I should be contributing to achieving global peace and security. Okay, so it falls within my area of interest and my development impact work I have stated that I want to do at the beginning of my essays. So always make sure that this is your personal life. Nobody will tell you what you should do with your life for the next 5 years. So you should be able to tell them what exactly you want to do 5 years following your award. And then your long-term career plan. Do you intend to maybe have your own hospital, have your own NGO, have your own organization? Is your personal life, what are you going to be doing at the long term? Do you want to marry and born plenty children and become a problem to the society? Of course, you're not going to write that. So you should write the most important thing that you want to do in this life as your long-term career plan. Tell them exactly how you'll be progressing. I'm not just saying it, also be telling them what you would be doing, because it's important. That is an important part of the assessment, because You should not just be telling them things now without saying, because if you say this thing is A or this thing is Y, tell them why it is Y. So always give reasons to back your positions. Actually, this is what you want to do. Tell them also what you will do to get there. And when you come to the UK, you'll be able to learn how to set smart goals and how you can achieve them. Then your personal statement, this is also an important part of it. So your personal statement summarize the ways in which your personal background has encouraged you to want to make an impact in your home country. You should indicate areas in which you have already contributed, such as overcoming any personal or community barriers to higher education. So this is your background. Most of us are coming from very humble backgrounds with any challenges we have faced. They want to know what were the challenges you faced while growing up that perhaps prevented you from getting the best life that you wanted for yourself. How you were able to go to university despite not having the resources to fund your education, the challenges that you face, and despite all that you went through, you were able to graduate with a good result. Yes, they want to know. And if there are factors that affected you in terms of affecting, if certain factors, incidents actually affected your academic performance or results, you should also be able to mention them here and tell them how your background has also motivated you to contribute to development in your home country. And by providing opportunity to people who have suffered perhaps what you suffered and how you do not want them to experience just negative aspects of life. Okay. So let's assume that for people who probably maybe you suffered a particular ailment while you were growing up, tell them exactly what you'll be doing, how you want to provide support for children, for young people, and the rest. Maybe it could be related to genetics and the rest. Tell them why you are passionate about fighting this particular problem. Maybe malaria killed someone closer to you. Malaria, you have suffered malaria in different ways. Tell them your own experience and why you are passionate about solving this problem. It's your personal experience. But here is also part of the places you are going to mention the achievement that you've made. If you got award, let me say, if you got special recognitions, award, you've done great things, this is where you also have to blow your trumpet, like tell them the great things that you've done, the contribution that you've made, and tell them why the Commonwealth scholarships is going to position you better to contribute and make greater impact in your society to achieve sustainable development. This is what they expect to hear from you. And then voluntary and leadership, you have 500 words to play with. Yeah, you can decide to play with it or you be serious with it. 500 words. Somebody was telling me, and was it not yesterday, that it's finding it difficult to write 500 words. And I didn't say anything because I feel like maybe this person is not really serious. Because if you know what you're writing, 500 words is not enough for you to write something that is compelling. Even your own personal experience. If I want to write my experience, if you give me 10,000 words, it's not enough for me to write my experience. So, but then they want to just, that's why they say summarize. So summarize everything just in 500 words. So you can't tell them, they can't give you 500 words and you go and write 100 words or 200 words. Yes, another thing is that you could decide not to write the entire word. You could decide not to maybe miss the entire word limit. So if they give you 500 words, at least you should be able to add up to 80%, 70% of it. Yes, you could say not to meet the entire word limit, but while you can't exceed it, also make sure that when you have something meaningful to write, you make good use of the word limit that you have. So here they want to know, you should also summarize voluntary and leadership experiences. Look at what CSOM is doing. Like, this is voluntary. She's not paid for what she is doing. And look at how she's been giving her time and sacrifices to this. See, if you're applying for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, in your voluntary experiences, you could tell them what you have been doing to promote this Commonwealth scholarship through Flourish Opportunities and Network. And they're going to be one because Commonwealth is also expecting people to promote their scholarship so that they will definitely, the application process will get more of course, it's competitive, but they want more people to be aware because this could be all what some people need actually. So you've done things. In my initial statement, I was mentioning how I contributed during my National Youth Service, how I contributed in terms of providing healthcare support for communities, how I visited communities, how I was really helping. Now, one of the things I did during my NYSC was the fact that I was the zonal coordinator for Nigerian Christian Corpus Fellowship. So when youth corps members come to camp, when they're leaving camp, basically one of the things I do is that I provide, let me say, support in terms of providing transportation to corps members by subsidizing cost of transportation. Sometimes I could even provide free buses when I'm able to raise funds with my executives. And these are part of the things we do. We visit communities, we visit schools, we sensitize people, we distribute probably some of the things that are needed. It could be clothes, it could be relief materials to people. And these are part of the ways you voluntary work that you've done. You have volunteered with international organizations in terms of promoting particular sustainable development goals. You've done things, great things. In the university, you volunteered. During COVID, you volunteered with organizations because during COVID, there were a lot of organizations that were actually giving support, both sensitizations, material support to people that were affected during the lockdown and the rest. Please, this is why it's also important. If you have not done anything, don't go and lie. They will catch you. Don't lie. So if you are yet to apply, this is an opportunity for you to also start volunteering. Start doing things for the sake of doing them. Not everything in this life you're going to be paid for. Okay, you're probably not going to be paid for everything in this life, but make sure that you are contributing value to society. Be of help to people. Be able to give support to people that need it. Look at what Osita is doing. I mean, hosting a community like this, providing support to thousands of people across the world. It's not paid for. This is voluntary experience, and probably this is going to land him in a place that most of us are not going to even maybe imagine, because this could open more global opportunities for him. So if you have done voluntary roles, be able to mention them, and not just mentioning them, always make sure that you use the STAR method. If you've worked in different organizations to volunteer, you could select the ones that are quite related to the program you are applying to and talk about them using the STAR methods: situation, task, action, and result. So you could talk about what was the situation before you identify a particular situation. Maybe in a particular community, people were always suffering from malaria-related infection. People were dying of malaria. So the task was the fact that, okay, maybe you joined a team to provide support like outreaches, provided medical assistance to people maybe in the community. So what was the actions? Yeah, mention the things that the great thing that you did, and then the result. So after you've done all these things now, what was the outcome? What was the result? So in all of them, you can use that method to explain your voluntary experiences, and then leadership, you can list them. And always, when you are talking about this part, don't just go and be saying things that you have done. Be conscious of the time dimension. What year? What was the duration? What time did you do this? What time did you do that? You should be able to be precise, okay? Don't say during my days in the university. During your days in the university could be 4 years, it could be 5 years. So tell them that, okay, between 2016 to 2017, between January 2015, or let me say between January 2018 to December 2019, I worked in this capacity in this organization. This was what I did. Some of us held positions in university while we're in the university, maybe in the campus fellowship, in the department, in the faculty. different organizations probably have held positions, even in our places of work, we have lead people. So tell them the opportunities you have had to provide leadership and be as precise as possible. And then finally, you get to upload your passports. So yeah, if you don't have passport, you can upload your national identity card, your transcripts, and then your degree certificates, and then you submit. So when you submit your application, the Commonwealth will send the application to the university. The university will get to review all the applications that were sent for that program or to that school and select their candidates and send back to the Commonwealth Scholarships Commission that will confirm the award. So I think have been able to cover up this part, considering the fact that our time is already fast spent. We have adjusted our time for tonight. I would just like to stop and entertain the questions, but I would just say that, so application deadline closes December 15. By March next year, universities will send in their list of selected candidates to the Commonwealth. So by April, Commonwealth will notify candidates to tell their referees to submit reference reports. So between that, May is usually deadline for submitting references. So by June, they probably do all the eligibility checks and the rest. Maybe towards the end of June, they could send confirmation of they could send let me say award acceptance form for you to accept the award if you have been selected. So by July now, you probably will get your award confirmed. Once you receive that letter, just like your life have changed, like completely, your life have been transformed. Once you receive that letter, you probably would be applying for cars, getting your TB test done, apply for visa. A visa is out. CSC book your flight for you, book couch for you, book coach for you, or train for you. You just see yourself like a king or a queen. You're just living the trenches and honorably living to the UK to study for your master's program so that you can be empowered to return back to your home country and solve the problem that you have identified and promised to solve. So that is it. So let's quickly ask questions. If you have any question, please ask. Okay, I can see some questions on the, okay, let me check through very well so I am not missing. Okay. Someone said, yo, she's in a very noisy place. My question is, are the referees supposed to submit their reference letters within the deadline of submission? No, the answer is no. Like I mentioned, by April, when you have been selected for the scholarship, CSC will send you an email telling you to inform your referees to submit reference report for you. And most importantly, all references would have to be on an institutional letterhead. So if your referee you've nominated works in the university or in an organization, he or she should submit the letter for you with an institutional letterhead. Please, that is important. So you don't need references now until you have been nominated for the scholarship. Do we have more questions?
Yeah, hi, Ezekiel. So because Chisholm is still having her network challenges,
okay,
I'm sort of be standing in on her behalf. We've actually compiled some questions from the community. So I'm just going to like ask some of them because either way, we're going to upload the video to the YouTube channel so people can still come back and watch the recorded version.
All right, that's fine.
All right. So the first question that we have that we sort of gotten from different community members that were asking is, how competitive is the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship?
So, like I mentioned earlier, this is one of the most competitive scholarships that one would ever apply for in his or her life, because it's highly competitive because there are limited slots. It seems to be different from other scholarship schemes because here university gets to do the selection by themselves. So universities that have just 2 scholarships has received over 50 applicants, 50 applications or 100 applications, there will be intense competition. So this is where your undergraduate, they actually select based on 3 primary criteria, which is your academic merit, talks about your undergraduate or master's degree that you have, your grades. This is where it comes into play, academic merit. They also look at the quality of your study outline. So your outline of study, how were you able to address the questions that were asked? How qualitative is your work? How were you able to respond effectively to the questions? What were your reasons for selecting the course? What were your reasons for selecting the university? What is the problem that you want to solve? Why do you want to come to the UK to study? How did you respond to all these questions? And how do they contribute to helping you to solve the problem that you want to solve? So going back to your development impact essay, the development impact essay talks about the impact of the work that you want to do. So how is it going to be contributing to solving that problem and achieving a sustainable development goal? So these are the basic things that they look at. Yes, they could look at other things like, okay, if you have publications, maybe your personal statements, and the rest. But most fundamentally, they look at undergraduate academic merits, undergraduate grades, the development impact work, and the quality of your plan of study. So it's usually competitive. And I would say it is highly competitive. Some schools that have up to like 9 scholarships, you're probably going to have about 200 people applying for it. So it's competitive. So that is why I always encourage people to make sure that they put in their best to write, like, shoot your very best shots for this particular scholarship. Give in your best as much as you can. Give in your best. Don't just do things for the sake of doing it, but do it with quality. Definitely it will speak.
Okay, that's actually very useful. So I just put the second set of questions on the chat. I don't know if you can see it.
Second question. Okay, let me.
Can you see it on the chat?
Yes, I can see that actually. So he said, how many people are selected for Commonwealth Scholarship? And is there any interview for Commonwealth Scholarship? So the number of people that are selected a year is not actually static. So this depends on the number of funding for each of the universities. So when I checked the Commonwealth Scholarship website, and when I was going through it, there are about 49 universities listed. But if you look at the application portal mainly, you're probably going to find more than 49 universities. So on the average, there are usually within 250 to 200, within 250. It could be less, it could be more, because this year some universities have increased the number of awards, others are reducing. So it's not really static, but it all depends on the number of awards at a particular university is funding for that year, and the programs, because university could decide to fund particular programs this year, next year, maybe they will remove it and fund a different program altogether. It depends on the area of priority. So this is actually not static. And then concerning interview, yes, some universities, I know of University of Strickland that conducts interview for Commonwealth Scholarship applicants. So this university tells you that when you're applying for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you should not apply for admission. Don't apply for admission. Just apply for the scholarship. When you are selected for the scholarship, they're going to invite you for interview. So you come for the interview. If you pass the interview, they will not ask you to apply for admission. Automatically, you're on your way in. So different universities adopt different method of selection, but I can tell you that over 95% of universities do not conduct interview. Over 95%. So universities that conduct interview are very rare in terms of the selection process. Can I say that can I stay in the UK after my Commonwealth? Let me read that question. Okay, can I stay in the UK after Commonwealth Shared Scholarship? The answer to that question is determined by the contract you signed before coming to the UK. So it's a yes and no. It is only yes if you are staying in the UK to continue with further studies, like you have a PhD that you probably want to do a PhD in the UK, the CSE will allow you to continue with further studies. But if you are not staying for further studies like PhD, CSE will book your flights. 1 month after your program, you will return back to your country. And they are very serious. Like, they're really very serious about it. So 1 month after your program, you probably will receive tickets from diversity to go back to your home country. Go and implement your development impact work. So that could actually be, maybe your visa is definitely they will book that flight for you early enough before the expiration of your visa. So if you don't want to go with that flight, you quickly tell them that you are not going yet. Because for CSE, it is a policy that they brought you from your home country to study and return you back to your home country to do your development impact work. So you're being here in the UK, they are responsible. So as soon as you are done with your studies, they have to return you back to your home country. Go there. If you want to come back, you're on your own. Yeah, you're coming back. But for them, you have to go back because they brought you. They are responsible for anything that happens to you, so long as you are staying in the UK within the duration of your award. So if you are done with your studies, you probably have to go back to your home country. But if you want to stay to further your PhD, you have funding, you must have informed the university on time that you already have funding for PhD. Probably they're going to allow you to proceed. If you want to work, even if you like, have a job that pays you £10,000 on a daily basis, you're not going to stay in the UK. You have to return back. You have to go and come back, because for CSE, work is not a criteria for you to stay in the UK. The only criteria is that you can go for further studies. Okay, so that is it. So if you are not proceeding for your PhD, you probably have to go back to your home country. And then, who is eligible for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship? What CGPA? Okay, so for CGPA, the truth is 95% from my own estimates, from my own judgment. I don't know the records of CSE, but from my own judgment, 95% of people that get selected for this scholarship usually have a first class. And this is the fact, because it's part of the criteria, academic merits, they usually have good grades. So they tend to select people that have a very good CGPA, good undergraduate results to be selected for this scholarship. It's part of the actually selection criteria. So, but then if you check the website, if you check the CSU website, please let me share my screen so we can understand clearly. If you check the CSE website, they told you that with a 2-1, and even a 2-2, second class upper or second class lower, you can apply for this scholarship. Just for reference purpose, let me candidate eligibility. Yeah, so by September 2022, that was why I was saying that, okay, if you are still in your final year and you know that you're probably going to complete your studies before September, which is the entry year, you can still apply. So you must have either first degree, at least second class upper or second class lower. Then this also depends on the university grading system for second class upper and second class lower and first class. So I can't categorically state the most acceptable GPA for this, but second class lower and second class upper and first class is okay. Obviously, they don't accept third class. So I think I've answered that.
Yeah, you have. So I think there was a question before the most recent one I sent. Someone was asking about the references, whether you're supposed to submit the references before the deadline of the submission of the application, or whether
I
there's a different
responded to that actually, that references are going to be requested after you have been selected for the scholarship. After you have been provisionally selected for the scholarship, that's when they request for reference. So it's probably going to be by April next year. That's when they request for reference. So reference submission will run between April till May next year.
Okay. And the person also like asked a follow-up. He said that if the work referee doesn't send the reference to an institutional email, is that a problem?
Well, the CSC will always say that in a situation where the referee does not have an institutional email, you can actually use a personal email, but in that case, it should be explained. So let's assume that your referee is sending a reference report for you. In his email cover, you could tell them why he's using a non-institutional email address. So I think that is clear enough. But I know some of my friends that got this scholarship, that their referees used personal emails that are not institutional to submit based on the conditions, situations, and this was explained and they got it. So they just want to make sure that the right people are submitting the reference reports, because anybody can have any email address, but for an institutional email, it's one of the ways you get to verify that, yes, this person actually work in this particular institution.
I dropped some other questions as well. Question around how many Commonwealth Shared Scholarships can a candidate apply for, and which of the universities gives the most scholarship, maybe to help them to align which university to focus on.
Okay, so the number of applications you can submit for a Commonwealth Shared Scholarship is unlimited. You can apply from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so as many as you want to apply, and as many as your strength can carry. And I think from the beginning, I was trying to explain the fact that if you are submitting an application to a particular university, on the Commonwealth Scholarship website, you write 11 essays. So let's assume you're applying to 2 schools, you're writing 22 essays, you multiply it by 2. So the same way you're applying for the scholarship is the same way you're going to apply for admissions. So there is no limit to how many you can apply. You can apply for as many as possible. And then the universities or colleges that gives the most scholarship. Now, the easiest way for you to do this is to check the list of universities which I shared earlier. The maximum I've seen so far is 9. I've seen University of Cambridge awarding 9 scholarships. I've seen I think Newcastle University or so, Cranfield also. Like I've seen university that gives, maximum I've seen is always 9. Some give 1, some give 2, some gives 5. University of Bristol is 8. My university, Coventry University, is currently funding 8 scholarships. Last year it was 2, which I got 1. So it all depends on the program. So if you're applying for a program that doesn't fit into the priorities of that university, you're probably not going to get selected for it. So the number of applications, number of awards in the university shouldn't determine your choice, but your choice should be based on how eminently qualified you are for that program, how your background relates to that program. Like, focus on your strengths, that program. Getting selected for 2 out of multiple applications. For 2, you got 1. Meanwhile, for the people that you applied for school that have 10, I did not get anyone. Probably you could apply for a school that has just 2 slots. Yes, it's good for you to apply. It's good for you to actually apply to schools that has multiple scholarships, because people get to reject offers, and at that point in time they can upgrade. Yes, so always good to apply to multiple schools, but it should be with good quality applications. Actually, if you submit low quality applications, if you apply to all the schools, they're probably going to reject you for all of them. Yeah, that's just a secret. But if you apply to, if you submit good essays to 1 school, to 2 schools, to 3 schools, definitely you will get selected when you've submitted a quality essay. Then comment on the cost of living in the UK. Okay, does a UK visa allow you to work? Okay. So cost of living in the UK, for me, it's relative. It depends on where in the UK you're staying. There are some cities in the UK that are more expensive than others. And this comes with the prices of accommodation and food, cost of transportation, and most other things. So it all depends also which city you want to live in. Some cities in the UK are more expensive than others. But I think, since this is not going to determine the decision of scholars, I wouldn't like to give analysis of which university or which city is more expensive than the other. So, but just know that accommodation in some cities are moderate compared to others. Like Coventry is one of the places that, Coventry is a moderate place for you to kind of live in. And yes, cost of living in Coventry is not really high compared to other cities. And Coventry is one of the places you can easily find most of the, if you're coming from Nigeria, you can easily find Nigerian stores. Like, you can easily find Nigerian food and other things, even though I have not really gone for shopping, to get Nigerian stuff, because what I came with from Nigeria, some of them, I've not even touched it. So I really don't have time for all that, but you can easily find Nigerian things because they have African markets that sells those things. Now, in those markets, they could be quite cheaper compared to when you go to other cities where African markets are rare to locate. So this is relative. It depends on where you find yourself in the UK. So does your UK visa allow you to work? Yeah, my UK visa allow me to work for 20 hours per week. But as a Commonwealth Shared Scholar, Commonwealth said you cannot work because they are paying you. What Commonwealth is paying you is more than, sometimes, even if you work that 20 hours in a week, you're not going to get that amount of money as a student. That's just the truth, because there are jobs that probably we're not going to pay you that much. So Commonwealth said that, okay, they want you to study full time. They want you to study completely full time. And you said, okay, you're going to study full time. Well, maybe when you get there, you will find your way. But the thing is, for Commonwealth, they expect you to study full time, despite the fact that you have 20 hours to work in a week. So does the scholarship covers accommodation? Now, the scholarship pays you a stipend. Currently, Commonwealth is one of the highest paying scholarships in the world. Commonwealth is really paying well because it pays you about 1,236 pounds. That is like over 1 million Nigerian naira. That so it covers the accommodation and your living expenses. They're all calculated in there. So from there you can pay your accommodation, and that also boils down to where you are, because some cities are very expensive. I know some of my friends that are paying accommodation for as high as 750 to 800 pounds. So imagine that you spend that high, and I think maybe in the years ahead, maybe Commonwealth could also help students based on their city of cost of living in those cities. Because I know some of my friends, and I really pity them, because you are spending like almost like 50 to 60% of your stipends to pay accommodation alone, not to talk of your other expenses that you have to make. So this also depends.
Okay. So
I'm
I
seeing
think
other questions like
the question whether you can use the same essay to apply to different schools.
no, it's not possible now. You cannot use, even if it's the same program, even if it's the same program you're applying to in different schools, it's not possible, because the course description, the curriculum of school A may be different from school B. Yes, there are aspects that you can actually tweak. There are some aspects you can tweak, but if you're applying for school A for MSc Public Health, and you're applying for school B for MSc Public Health, there could be like 30 to 50% adjustment that you probably have to do, because universities are not the same. The reason why affiliating those universities are not also the same, the curriculum is not the same, the course structures are not also the same. So the skills that probably you're going to get in that course may be slightly different from the skills you're going to get from the other course. Even if they're the same courses from different universities, the university teaching mode could be different as well. So you probably will not use the same essay for all schools, but you can really tweak it if it works for you.
Okay. Guys, I hope
Yes,
you heard that.
yes, I've seen the question. Does the scholarship covers for family of scholarship holders, award holders? Okay, so the thing is, for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, I think I should just share it from the website, so you will know that yes, the thing is, it covers actually. Yeah, it covers for family holders, but I think it's limited. They can fund up to like 3 children. They can fund up to like 3 children and your partner. There are spouse benefits. So yeah, they tell you that if a scholar have children and a widow, divorced, or single parent, child allowance of £529 per month for the first child and £131 per month for the second and third child under the age of 16 years. Now, as a scholar, when you arrive in the UK, you probably would be given some allowances, and your partner could actually work. Your partner could work, so they can give you the support, but they always tell you that if scholars are accompanied by family, by their children, and they are living with them at the same address in the UK, you will get all these benefits. However, CSC will tell you that the CSC family allowance are intended to only be used as a contribution towards the cost of maintaining a scholar's family in the UK. The true costs are maybe likely to be considerably higher. So if you come with your wife and you are schooling, your wife could actually work to supplement. Yeah, maybe she could do something to supplement, because if you're coming with your children, with your spouse, with your family, CSC may not be able to cater for all of them, but they're already giving you something that should be able to help. So that's just, coming from low-income countries, £500 is a lot for a first child here in the UK. What is it? It could go a long way, £131 per month for the second child. It could actually go a long way. That money probably would cover the child, like anything feeding, like it definitely cover the child. Is not paying for house. You already have an apartment that you live in. And so it's just to help the family in terms of sustaining you for your 1 year and the rest.
Okay, I think that's a very, very useful, honestly speaking. At least now people know that they can bring their spouses. But how about
But
graduates?
CSS does not cover the cost of flight tickets. So if you're bringing your family, you probably will pay for the visa, you pay for the flight. They can help you, diversity can help you to book the flight. If you want to come with the family, they can book the flights together. But you really want to pay for the cost of bringing your family down here. CSS is not responsible for that. They can pay for your flight. Even if your flight is very expensive, they can pay for you, but that is only for you. They're not responsible for bringing your family down here. You are the only responsibility they have as a scholar.
Yeah. But the fact that they're even giving some stipend to cover some children, I think that's very useful.
And honestly, I feel really bad about it. I'm single. Like I'm wasting the opportunity. You know, when I received the CSC form, when I arrived, they sent the form for me to fill in. I was like, family, I don't have any family. Yeah, man, it was crazy. I was like, wow, look opportunity I'm wasting. But CSC is trying. They're kind of one of the best. Like they're one of the best. I have to be honest. Like they're one of the best. So
I agree.
can recent graduates apply? Yeah, recent graduates can apply so long as you have your transcript, which is what they need. You can apply. Even if you're in your final year, you can still apply. Get your transcript, the transcript of all your results, compile it and send it to them. Make sure that it is stamped. Even if you are yet to graduate, you're in your final year, you've done your, maybe you're in the last semester, please apply. That's why they say that they want to be sure that scholar is going to hold a bachelor's degree, or let me say a first degree, by September 2023. So even if in your final year and you have a transcript, you could actually apply for the scholarship.
Okay, thank you so much for that. This is like our final question, what I just put there now, because I know that you've actually spent a lot of time, like explaining how the process works.
Yeah.
So members of our community like reach out to you on LinkedIn, so like maybe if they have like further questions on the application.
They can always reach out to me. The challenge I'm having currently is that I'm not really active on LinkedIn. I go there like once in a day to check what is happening because I have multiple deadlines that I'm currently needs to meet. But I'm more active on WhatsApp. So what I do is that for those people who have connected with me, I'm active in terms of checking my email. I can check my email up to 50 times to 60 times in a day. So if there is any request on LinkedIn, I will see it on my email and I quickly go on LinkedIn to accept it. So once I've accepted the person, the easiest way for me to be of support to the person is I have to move the person from LinkedIn to my WhatsApp. So I quickly share my WhatsApp number so that the person could connect. So it becomes easier for me to interact with the person on WhatsApp compared to LinkedIn because time is of essence now. So probably maybe figure it out after all the deadlines. But this is a very extremely busy period for us.
I'm quite busy, very, very busy from my end as well. Yeah. So what we can do is that, maybe I can get confirmation from you, then I can share your WhatsApp number to the people on the community. If that's okay with you.
No, you can share. I think currently we held a session on the 6th of this month. And after holding the session, the most serious applicants, what we did was the fact that we created a different mentorship group. And as of today, we have about over 60 persons that are currently in that group for exclusive support. So people that if they have any question, they can ask, we respond to them. Yeah, that's what we are doing. And I think so far, we have also provided opportunity to people who are done with their essays to send them for scholars to just to go through them and provide honest feedbacks so as to help them get their essays better. But this is a very busy time, like I said, to almost all the scholars. So even myself, for me to even reach out to a scholar to ask if the person could actually help to maybe just read through the essay and provide feedback. Like I feel like, man, it's really terrible. And for those persons who have done that, there are some scholars that have helped to review few essays, others are still to like you have more things to do than the time available. So when somebody is bringing something that is probably going to take you more time, we sincerely do this based on how we really want to help. but sometimes it could be very difficult. Like it could be very difficult sometimes. But we are still open to helping people.
Yeah, I mean, you actually took your time to like explain the expectations in each of the essays, and they're like almost like 12 essays in
There are
the
11
application
essays.
process.
Yeah.
11, yeah. So I mean, someone even having bothered to have gone through this video, because it's probably going to be over 2 hours, that shows a of seriousness on their part.
True.
Before you then even want to like figure out what exactly they've done with the essays. So yeah, thank you again so much for making out the time. I know you're very busy.
Yeah.
I know you're very
And
busy.
thank you for the opportunity too for me to come and share with the community.
Yeah, we are really
Also.
great. We appreciate that. It's only God that can really reward people for this type of thing now.
Yeah.
Because sadly, we've not been able to make a down payment for roasted corn. But that's the story.
And I should be coming to Nottingham December.
All right, that's all right.
Yeah, so I think we have the opportunity to meet as well.
Oh, definitely.
That should be on the 9th, actually. That should maybe on the 9th, I should be coming. Courtesy of CSC. Yeah. That is one good part about CSC. So you will get to do a whole lot of things in the UK. Yeah.
I agree. So if you're watching this video from wherever you are, we are members of the F1 community, and we create this type of webinars and have conversations with people that have won the best scholarships in the world to help you to understand how to go about the application on your own. It would be great if you can drop a like for this video if you enjoy the content provided so far, and also remember to subscribe so that every single time we upload a new video, you'll be able to like get some kind of notification so that you can follow up with the page. Thank you so much, Godstime. I don't want to take any more of your time, so I think we should call it a night. But yeah, I will definitely upload the video and share the link with you once I do that.
That's fine. Thank you very much too for the opportunity to share.
All right.
Nice.
So hopefully I'll see you in Nottingham this December. I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, definitely we'll meet.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you all so much for being here today. And
yeah.